Good morning. My name is Donnie, and personally, I'm going to tell you about first time home buyer program. Well, as for me, I'm employed as a driver slash home care person. I am employed by the state of Florida for taking care of a deaf and blind individual. I'm working to extend my license and so that I can go ahead and actually start taking care of more people and maybe walk away from my warehouse slash driving position. But within that, I have purchased a home for the asking price was 138,000, but the actual mortgage that I had to pay, that I'm responsible for paying, is 78,350. Over 66,000 is in a forgivable loan, and within that forgivable loan, as long as I don't sell my property, I don't have to pay it back. And because what the purposes that which I'm using to help disabled people, I'm I also was only responsible for 1% down because of I'm providing a need for to the state of Florida for far less than what is than what most homes actually charge. Most homes actually charge the state of Florida anywhere between $4,000 to $8,000, and that money is split between the state of Florida, the individual, and the insurance. But I showed that I can do it, and I can do it, and the charges go upon the individual, and it's a whole lot less. And I show that as long as the state of Florida helps out with care, while I'm at work, uh, I show that food, uh, doctor's appointments, and everything else can actually be done. Now, considering this, a lot of people would ask, hey, why would you do something like this? You work almost 24 hours a day. And actually, my job requires me, I get off one job and I'm right on to another. And one of my most important parts of my job is money crunching. So I work to make sure that monies are spent properly, because when I'm asked by the state of Florida, how's your money spent, I let them know. And I can show dollar signs from the generator that's required for the period of 3 days, have fuel sufficient for 3 days, to grooming, personal hygiene needs. But to get beyond that and back to the point of first time home buyer, the first time home buyer, uh, they have a class that's called the H2H Club. And all you have to do is go online to the Housing Foundation of America, and they will let you know. It's not an instant process, so don't think that I'm going to tell you that, hey, you get into this house and you buy it, you have all the required amount of money down, and you're going to get the house today. If anything worked that way, I should have had a house a couple years ago. But it doesn't work that way. The way that it works is that they'll set an interview date up, and that interview date can be almost 3 months away from your first initial phone call to them. And yes, they're going to ask for some money to run your credit. But if you're smart and you're very frugal, go to your bank, run your own credit. Your bank will do it for you at no charge. So that way, but make sure you do it within 30 days of your date to meet with a counselor at the Housing Foundation of America. And that way, nobody is charging you money to run your credit. Even though that they're only going to pull a soft pull, and a soft pull won't really affect your credit score. But any time that you have to pay somebody for something, it's three things that you got to remember. One, is this service worth it? Can I do it myself? Or is it unreasonable? And those are the questions that you got to ask yourself when looking at that part. But to move on from there, okay, if your credit is okay and within the home buying necessity for that, then they'll take you to a loan officer. And basically, while you're at the loan officer, it's your part, it's your responsibility to get a realtor, or you go out and you go find your own home. Personally, I went and found my own home. And fortunately, I found a home that was a Section 8 house that which they were trying to get rid of. My house was built in 2009. I got it in 2016. So my home is practically brand new. Impact windows, impact doors, everything meets hurricane resistant standards. So there is very little that I have to do or had to do. And because I didn't have to do any of that, that wasn't a factor to where I have to put into play for the home. But they don't allow you to get an FHA home that's not move-in ready. So whatever residence that you're deciding to make your life happen, they won't allow you to get a home that's not ready to move in. So let's say you found your home, and then you're going back and forth, and you're going to deal with the loan officer. And trust me, they're going to ask you for your paycheck stubs, and they're going to probably ask you for it about 30 times. I swear the lady asked for mine at least 6 times. Asked for my W-2s, my last 3 years of W-2s, 4 times. And then, while you're in the process of that, this is normal. So just make a couple copies of everything. To be on the safe side, make 10 copies of everything. And have it ready at a moment's notice, or put it on a flash drive if you feel that safe on doing it. And you email it to them. Now, as for me, I I was going back and forth to them and submitting the paperwork as needed. But uh, then from there, I had to shop for my homeowner's insurance, and along with my homeowners, I had to shop for my flood policy. Some people may want to allow the banks to do it, but I don't allow nobody to do anything for me that I can do for myself. So after you find your homeowner's insurance, check to make sure with the companies how you know what's all covered, what's not. Go through the contract with a fine tooth comb, because if you don't, something happens, you're gonna end up wondering if you have coverage. Also, you want to if your home doesn't have smoke detectors, you want to make sure that you get a smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. And once you get them certified that they are legitimate, once you have your home, you do get money off on your policy. But another thing that you do get money off of, you get money off for impacted windows after somebody do a window mitigation test for on your windows, and you also get money on your alarm system. So now the money off your policy for the alarm system, to be honest, is not really worth it, but it does bring your monthly payments down a little bit. And that little extra money you can put in the savings or you can do whatever. Now, I'm going to tell you like this, with alarm companies, do not just pick and choose. I chose one off of just because they were like one of the top on the search engine, and thanks to Vivin, I'm not happy because the system isn't working in the course to which they described to me. And it's a whole bunch of legal mumbo jumbo about not disclosing the cancellation policies and all of this. And but I'm not here to badmouth uh, my alarm company today. But alarms are another thing that you have to be watchful for. Um, then after that, you'll probably have a walkthrough while you're still in the negotiation phases. While you're under contract, you should be able to have a walkthrough, and you'll have two walkthroughs. You'll have the walkthrough a couple days at least almost a month before you close, and at least a day or two or three before you close. During this time, check your house. Make sure outlets are working. Make sure that there are no cracks nowhere. Even though FHA will, you can't move into a house that's not ready to move in, you still want to check to make sure everything is working. Because if everything is working, you should have no problems. So go ahead and check everything. If the paint's not right, hey, make that an issue, so that maybe you can go back and renegotiate a couple dollars cheaper in the purchase price. And also, by going through Housing Foundation of America, they may be able to find you grants dependent upon your local income. Your income. Now, I'm at a moderate income level, but because I have more than one person staying with me, uh, and they are disabled, that actually brings my income level back down to more or less almost a poverty level. But no matter what, because I'm responsible with money, I make everything work. And when it doesn't work, I work to make it work. Because I'm not going to sit here and make $50 a week to pay out 75. And money management is a very responsible thing when trying to get a home.